The classroom was quiet, except for the snip, snip, snip of scissors. Every head turned. Phones hovered under desks. Whispers floated in the air like a secret storm. Wait, is he actually cutting his hair? Without permission? Right there, in the middle of the chaos, Will Smith's son sat frozen in the chair, shoulders hunched, gripping the edge like it was his lifeline. And across from him, Mr. Thompson held the scissors like a king holding a scepter, authoritative, confident, and completely wrong. No one moved. No one dared. The scissors clicked again, a small lock of hair fell to the floor, and the boy flinched. And then, the door slammed open. Time slowed. All eyes swung toward the doorway. The room seemed to hold its breath. Will Smith had arrived. Watch till the end. Subscribe and comment where you are watching from. The students froze. Some gasped. Some whispered. Phones were already recording. Mr. Thompson, mid-snip, blinked. His confidence faltered. The scissors wavered. Will didn't shout. He didn't even frown. He walked in. Calm. Firm. Present. The kind of presence that instantly rewrote the energy in the room. Hey, Will said, crouching slightly to his son's level. His voice was soft, but carried a weight no one could ignore. You good? The boy nodded, wide-eyed. Relief washed over him like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Will straightened and scanned the room, locking eyes with the teacher. He didn't need to yell. The silence said everything. Will's voice filled the room. Discipline doesn't come from fear, he said. It comes from respect. And respect starts with understanding, not forcing someone to do something they didn't agree to. The class held its collective breath. Mr. Thompson swallowed hard, realizing in that instant how off base he had been. Will crouched back to his son. Next time, we go somewhere safe. Somewhere you choose. And we make it fun. But today, you handled it like a champ. The boy's lips curved into a small smile. Laughter bubbled up. Nervous, shaky, but real. Students began to whisper. Some laughed quietly. Some cheered softly. One muttered, "Dude, that's Will Smith." Mr. Thompson slowly set down the scissors. He cleared his throat, embarrassed, humbled, and maybe enlightened. Will approached him, calm but commanding. It's okay. We all make mistakes. But next time, ask first before you grab the scissors, yeah? Mr. Thompson nodded sheepishly. Yeah, I got it. Will smiled, crouched again to his son's level, ruffling his hair. See? Not so bad. The boy laughed, genuinely now. Relief, courage, pride. And then they walked out together, side by side. The classroom felt lighter. Laughter bounced off the walls. Phones stopped recording. Students whispered. That was insane, did you see that? Even Mr. Thompson shook his head with a small smile. Lessons had been learned. Respect had been earned. Hair grows back. Moments like this, they last forever. Outside the classroom, students replayed the moment in their heads. Some planned to post it. Others just wanted to savor it. But everyone agreed on one thing. Never underestimate a father. Will Smith didn't need to shout. He didn't need drama. His presence, his calm, and his words transformed the day. A moment of fear became a moment of respect, laughter, and inspiration. Even the smallest things, the scuffed chair, the fallen hair, the nervous boy, felt monumental. Because today, a father showed his son how to face the world and how to handle even the most embarrassing situations with courage. And as they walked down the hallway, students whispered one last thing. That's not just Will Smith, that's a vibe. The hallway was buzzing. Students whispered to each other, replaying what had just happened. Phones in pockets were ready to capture every retell. Did you see how calm he was? One whispered. I thought he was going to explode. Another replied, eyes wide. But Will Smith? He didn't rush, didn't glare, didn't try to steal the spotlight. He simply walked, side by side with his son, his presence making even the loudest chatter feel like background noise. Every step carried confidence, humility, and a kind of quiet power that didn't need permission to exist. Hey, Will said, leaning slightly closer to his son. You held it down back there. Proud of you. His son glanced up, a smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. Thanks, Dad. I was kinda scared. Will chuckled softly, ruffling his hair. Yeah, I noticed. But see? You didn't freeze. You didn't cry. You faced it. That's how you handle the unexpected. The boy laughed, a nervous but genuine sound. Even with the scissors? Especially with the scissors, Will replied with a grin. Scissors are scary, but fear doesn't control you. You do. As they walked, a group of students trailed behind, whispering excitedly. Some filmed, some just stared, still processing. The buzz of energy followed them like a current. Even teachers passing in the hallway paused for a glance, sensing that something monumental had just happened. Inside, Mr. Thompson leaned against the wall, watching them leave. His face was a mix of embarrassment and awe. He ran a hand through his hair, muttering under his breath, I really thought I was helping him." One of the other teachers, walking by, gave him a small nod. "You just got schooled by Will Smith." Mr. Thompson swallowed hard. Yeah, I guess I did." Outside the school doors, sunlight hit the sidewalk, reflecting off the concrete in sharp, golden streaks. Will's son took a deep breath, the tension of the classroom melting away with every step. "You know what?" Will said, glancing down at him. "You handled that like a pro. The world throws surprises at you all the time. Today it was scissors. Tomorrow it could be anything. But you're ready." His son grinned wider, a spark of confidence lighting his eyes. "Like a champ." "Exactly like a champ," Will said, fist bumping him lightly. From the school windows, the students watched as the pair disappeared down the street. Phones were out again, videos being recorded, whispers turning into excited chatter. "Did you see him? That energy, that vibe." And just like that, the story of the classroom spread. The boy's courage, Will's calm authority, the teacher's humbling. Every detail became legend. Memes, videos, laughter, and respect followed the tale, each retelling adding new layers of admiration. Even the fallen hair on the classroom floor seemed to hold its own story now. It wasn't just a mistake, it was a reminder, a symbol, a mark of a day when fear met calm, chaos met guidance, and embarrassment met love. Will leaned down one last time to his son before they reached the corner. "Remember this moment," he said softly. "Not because of what happened, but because of how you handled it. That's your power." And the boy nodded, understanding. Not every lesson in life comes from textbooks or rules. Sometimes, the most important lessons come from how you face the unexpected and who's there beside you when it happens. The sunlight hit their faces as they walked, laughter spilling from the boy, pride radiating from Will. Students whispered, phones buzzed, and teachers muttered in awe. But one thing was clear. Today, the vibe had changed forever. Because sometimes, it's not the scissors that cut the moment short. It's the presence, the calm, the love, and the courage that follow. And as they disappeared down the street, a student in the crowd whispered, almost reverently, That's not just Will Smith. That's a whole energy, a whole vibe." The street outside the school was alive with afternoon energy. Cars hummed, leaves rustled in the wind, and somewhere nearby, a basketball bounced rhythmically against the pavement. But all that background noise seemed to fade in the wake of Will Smith and his son walking side by side. Laughter and quiet conversation filling the space between them like a bubble the world couldn't penetrate. "Dad," the boy said, glancing up, "why didn't you yell at him?" Will grinned, shaking his head. "Yell? Nah. Yelling doesn't teach respect. It scares people. And respect, real respect, sticks when people feel seen and understood, not threatened." The boy considered this, looking down at the sidewalk, then back up at his dad. "So, the teacher just learned the hard way?" "Exactly," Will said, chuckling. "Sometimes people need a reminder. But the key is how you handle it. You didn't cry. You didn't freeze. You didn't fight. You stayed calm and handled yourself like a boss." His son laughed, a little louder this time, letting the tension slip out in waves. "Like a boss, huh?" "Exactly, like a boss," Will repeated, punching him lightly on the shoulder. "And don't forget it." Meanwhile, back at the school, the students were still buzzing. Clips of the classroom incident were circulating rapidly, some videos slow-mo, some sped up for comedic effect, but every clip carried the same undercurrent. Awe, respect, pure, vibing energy. One student whispered to another, "Man, you can literally feel the vibe through the screen. That's insane." "Yeah," the other replied, eyes glued to his phone. "It's like Will Smith just changed the energy in the entire school." Even Mr. Thompson lingered in the empty hallway, leaning against a locker, scrolling through the social media clips. A small smile tugged at his lips. He shook his head in disbelief. "Okay. Yeah, that was a masterclass." Back on the street, Will slowed down as they approached a small park nearby. The boy stopped, looking at the swings, then turned back to his dad. "Want to go for a quick swing?" Will asked. The boy's eyes lit up. "Really? Of course," Will said, ruffling his hair. "We earned it. Today's victory lap." And just like that, they ran toward the swings, laughter echoing, the kind of free, unrestrained laughter that spreads to everyone nearby. Kids in the park paused, watching them with envy and admiration. Even the pigeons scattered at their energy, wings beating like tiny drum solos in the afternoon sun. Will swung gently, then higher, then let go. His son soared beside him, arms stretched out, the wind rushing past, and for a moment, all the tension of the classroom, scissors, embarrassment, fear, was gone. "This," Will said, voice strong yet calm, "this right here? This is how you handle life. Calm, confident, with a little fun thrown in. Never let fear steal your vibe." His son laughed, twisting in the air. "I won't, Dad. I got it. I really got it." They swung together, the world moving around them, students and teachers, and social media clamor fading into the background. The street, the school, the clips, all of it. It all felt small in comparison to this simple moment. Because some lessons, Will knew, couldn't be taught with scissors, rules, or authority. They were learned in presence, in support, in the small moments where fear meets courage and love shows the way. And as the sun began to dip lower, casting long shadows across the park, the father and son laughed together, their energy spilling out like sunlight, a vibe that no one could ignore, a story that no one would forget. The students would keep talking about it. The videos would keep circulating. But the real lesson? The one that mattered most? It lived right here, swinging through the air, unshakable, unstoppable, vibing. As the laughter of father and son bounced across the park, a few students from the school trickled over, curiosity written all over their faces. Phones were out, ready to capture the moment, but nobody dared interrupt. There was a sort of magnetic pull around Will and his son, an energy that demanded respect, attention, and admiration all at once. One of the students, a tall boy with a baseball cap, whispered to his friend, "Yo, that's insane. He's just so cool. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. That's Will Smith." The friend nodded, eyes wide. "Yeah, but it's more than that. It's not just him. It's the vibe. You can feel it." Meanwhile, Will's son hopped off the swing and ran toward a small patch of grass. He spun in circles, arms stretched wide, as if shaking off every last bit of fear from the classroom. Will followed, smiling, his energy calm but undeniably commanding. "You see that?" Will said, pointing at the spinning boy. "That's freedom. That's confidence. That's owning your moment, no matter what happened earlier." The boy grinned. "It feels amazing." Will chuckled, ruffling his hair again. "Told you." And today wasn't just about haircuts or classroom drama. It was about you realizing one thing. Fear only has as much power as you give it. A group of younger kids from the park wandered closer, drawn by the laughter. One asked timidly, "Are you Will Smith?" Will knelt down, eyes meeting theirs, calm and approachable. "I am. And you?" "You gotta remember, no one can steal your confidence. Not scissors, not anyone, not anything." The kids nodded, some wide-eyed, some grinning. Energy rippled outward, as if his calm presence was contagious. Meanwhile, back at the school, Mr. Thompson had finally walked outside, catching sight of the father-son duo. For the first time, he felt the weight of humility, not embarrassment, not shame, but the kind that comes from seeing true presence in action. He muttered under his breath, almost to himself, "Wow, I have so much to learn." Inside the school, whispers turned to chatter, and chatter to laughter, as clips of the afternoon's events spread across the students' phones. Every retelling added layers of awe, humor, and admiration. "Did you see him on the swings?" One student texted. "He's literally vibing with life." Will's son ran back to him, a spark of excitement in his eyes. "Dad, can we go get ice cream? I think I deserve it after today." Will laughed, a rich, warm sound that filled the park. "You earned it, champ. Let's make it happen." As they walked toward the ice cream stand down the block, the energy in the park followed them. Students, kids, even passers-by couldn't help but glance, smile, and feel the ripple of that vibe. The classroom drama, the scissors, the fear, it all became a story of transformation, courage, and presence. And as they disappeared around the corner, the final lesson settled quietly, like the perfect beat at the end of a song. Life throws unexpected things at you. Some moments are messy, some are embarrassing. But with presence, confidence, and a little fun, you can turn anything into a story worth telling. Well, Smith had shown it. His son had lived it. And everyone who witnessed it, even in passing, felt it. The vibe was real. The vibe was strong. And that day, the vibe would linger forever.